Yay, happy Saturday. I'm having a casual Saturday. I just got out of the shower. Hope you are as well. I'm actually hot. I got these new cute sweats and it's like 95 degrees out. So I don't know why I'm wearing them right now, but that's okay. Anyways, if you are just watching this replay and you're like, what's going on? I'm Alexandra Harbushka. I'm founder of Life with Herpes. I have had herpes HSV1 oral since 2003 and genital HSV2 since 2011. So I'm here to answer your questions about herpes and support you through this journey. Then why am I wearing them? Because I just got them and so I wanted to wear them. Like I haven't worn them yet. So they're really comfy, and inside my house it's chilly because we have the AC going, and I was cuddling with my son, and so it was a nice cuddle outfit. But then I went outside because I didn't want to wake him up. Right. Understand. It's first world problems, obviously. All right. So yesterday I was live with you all, and there was a lot of great questions about supplements. There's a lot of great questions about ways to prevent outbreaks. Over-the-counter things. Foot check. I don't know. What do you want to see about my foot? Here's my foot. So a lot of great questions about that. So let's just kind of do a herpes 101 and kind of get to the bottom of it. There's this big misconception that oral herpes is only HSV1. If you have, let's just say you've never been diagnosed, you get what's called fever blisters. That is herpes. Well, if you've never been diagnosed, you don't know if you have HSV1 or HSV2. And then you have genital herpes, which has traditionally been thought of as HSV2 only. What's happening now is there's so many people that are getting genital HSV1 because we do things with our mouth, right? And so this gets transmitted. One of the things that we're also not taught, well, first of all, we're not even taught sex ed, obviously. But even if we are taught sex ed, we're not taught that everything can be transmitted orally just as it can be vaginally or anally. So a lot of times we will use our mouth to do things because we're like, oh, I don't have a condom, or I don't really know the person that well, or like, I don't know, it's just a random hookup, I don't want to get anything. So we'll do things with our mouth, and the thing is we can still transmit or get herpes via oral, okay? So I just want everyone to know that. It's really important to be aware of that. So a lot of times HSV1 is being transmitted genitally via oral, all right? How would you tell a new partner? I would say, what are your intentions? What are your expectations? What are you doing with your new partner? So is this somebody that is like just a one-night stand? Is this somebody that you're like, it's casual, just a hookup, it's a very casual thing, we'll see where it goes? Or is this somebody that you're like, no, I see where this is going, I really want this, like this is a long-term thing that I want? So I feel like it's all very different types of disclosures. I should rewind. It's not different types of disclosures, it's just different ways of initiating the disclosure. So what I mean by that is, if it's something very casual, then I would just be straight up front, whether it's a quick text or however you want to communicate, and be like, hey, I have HSV1 or HSV2 or whatever. It's something we need to discuss. Most people have this. 80% of the population has herpes. So I don't know if you've been checked before, but this is what I have. And in fact, that I know that I have this, it's probably going to be less likely that I would transmit it to you, because here's what I'm going to do and we're going to do to prevent transmission. So it's kind of like putting together a plan of how you're going to prevent transmission. Whether you're on the antiviral, whether you never get outbreaks, whatever you're going to do. We're going to use condoms, blah, 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 blah. If it's something a little long-term, like you're like, this is a relationship I'm really into. I really like this person and I want to be in this person. That's funny. See where my mind is. I want to be with this person, and this is a foundation. I would wait till you're ready to have sex with them. I would wait until you're ready to be in that intimate relationship. Enjoy the courtship, enjoy the fun dating, enjoy all that. Never feel like it's a bait and switch or like I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste my time. Feel like, hey, I'm enjoying my time with people, and I'm enjoying my time with this person, and I really like this person. So I'm going to enjoy and see where it goes. Then you get to the point of wanting to disclose. Yeah, you can see my tennis bracelet. It was my pushing present. And then we can see where it goes. So there's no like, I have to disclose date one, I have to disclose before we even go on a date. There's no like set time. It's what do you feel is right for you and your relationship with this person. Is a skin tag herpes? No, a skin tag, I don't even know what a skin tag is. It's just like an extra growth. I don't know what a skin tag is, but no, that's not herpes. Herpes is a specific virus. It's called HSV, herpes simplex virus. There's actually a lot of different herpes viruses, but the ones that we're specifically talking about are HSV1 and HSV2, oral and genital. So we all have herpes viruses in our bodies. It's like impossible not to. Specifically, we are talking about oral herpes and genital herpes. And so 80% of the population has herpes. So here's the thing is 67% of the population has HSV1 and 13% of the population has HSV2. So roughly 80% of the population. I would beg to differ. There's more people that have herpes. They're just never diagnosed, or they never get tested, so they're never diagnosed. They're asymptomatic. They don't get outbreaks. That's one of the frustrating things about herpes and why it gets transmitted silently and why it's rampant, is because the majority of the population with herpes is asymptomatic. They don't have outbreaks. Or if they do have outbreaks, it's like once in a blue moon and they're like, I didn't think that was herpes, or I got it in a weird spot, so I didn't think it was herpes. 90% of the people with HSV2, so 90% of that 13% have no clue they have it. They'll never be diagnosed with it. They don't know they have it. So that's why this keeps on getting transmitted so much. Jesus loves you so much. Turn to Christ and repent, for the kingdom, the God is in hand. So I am a big Jesus fan. I'm actually working on my master's in theology. I am a minister. I went on ahead and completed that coursework. So I am all about God. So thank you for that. So how do I get rid of it, and how did I get it? Herpes is something we can't get rid of. It's a virus. Viruses we have for life. So that's one of the things about viruses that can be good or bad, because once we have viruses for life, we then create antibodies. So our body will not reinfect ourselves with that same virus. Specifically the herpes virus is what I'm talking about. So we cannot get rid of it, which is unfortunate because it's not like a bacterial infection where you take an antibiotic and it's gone. This is a viral infection. So what we can do to help suppress it is look at our diet, look at what we're doing in our life. Do we have a toxic life? What's our lifestyle like? Do we have extra things going on in our life that are causing a lot of stress? Stress causes outbreaks. So we can take supplements like Lysine. Lysine is extremely helpful with suppressing herpes outbreaks. It helps keep the arginine from fueling the herpes virus. It blocks it, so it helps keep it in the out of replication mode, which is extremely important. So I'd recommend something like that. I'm not a doctor. You'd have to talk to your doctor. Also, there's a lot of people that just take the daily antiviral prophylactically, so they take it daily to prevent outbreaks or to prevent transmission. Seeing your page helped me in the worst of my life. Thank you. You're welcome. I understand. Hey, I get it. It's annoying. I've had an outbreak now for a week and I'm like super over it. I'm at the point in my life where it's annoying, not at the point in my life where it's like devastating or crushing. I'm at the point of like, it's annoying. It's Saturday and I'd like to be with my husband and do that. My son's taking a nap. You know what I mean? Like I'd like to, but I can't. So anyways, but it does get better, and we do get through life, and herpes is a part of being human. Back when I was diagnosed, I actually reached out to the Salk Institute. So Jonas Salk is the gentleman who solved polio. He created the vaccine to polio. The Salk Institute is based out of San Diego at a University of California, San Diego. So I reached out to it because they're a viral specialist, and I talked to a viral specialist of HSV, and he said that herpes is just what goes along with being human. It's just part of living life. 90% of the population will come into contact with herpes. So for any of us that like, or any person that's like, oh, that's gross, I would never, you've come in contact with it, you just haven't gotten it. So 90% of the population comes in contact with it. But what I'm getting to, my point I'm getting at, is that herpes is just part of living. Every living vertebrate has herpes. Dolphins, water buffalo, that's a weird one. I don't know where I got water buffalo from. Elk, I don't know where I got the elk from. Dogs, cats, whatever, all have their own form of herpes. Did you know each word in the KJV has its own definition and its own biblical meaning? King James Version, is that what that is? I did not. I mean, I did. I know that the Hebrew words all have their own meanings, but I wasn't that sure about that. So did I catch it in a public bathroom or what? Probably not. It's skin-to-skin transmission. You most likely caught it from somebody that, thanks for the panda, you caught it from somebody that had it. So they either had an active outbreak or they were shedding. Do you notice that your eyes get more matted and more sleep since you got HSV? I've noticed that I need more sleep, but I think it's also because I have a toddler. I don't know. I've had herpes since I was 20, so I'm not really sure. I am definitely someone that needs more sleep. However, if I am feeling run down and if I am getting an outbreak, then my body is absolutely exhausted and I do need more sleep during that. You've had HSV1 but haven't had an outbreak in literally 11 plus years. That's awesome. Your body's obviously doing something right and it's suppressing the virus. Do you notice more UTIs after being diagnosed? No, I had more before I was diagnosed. I think it was because of the partner I was with, and I just think I was in an unhealthy state. I was not treating my body healthfully. I was eating a lot of processed foods, sugars, dairy, a lot of gluten, a lot of beer, all that, and I think that really adds to that healthy portion of your body. So I was getting a lot of UTIs, but there's not necessarily something that, like, herpes doesn't cause UTIs, if that's what you're asking. Is there a home test? There's not a home test for herpes. What you can do is reach out to Herp Alert. They're my favorite people. They have, it's a telehealth company, and they can diagnose you if you have an active outbreak. One of the things to know about being diagnosed is you either have a swab done or you have a blood test, or it can be clinical diagnosis. A clinical diagnosis is when a doctor or a medical professional looks at it and is like, that's herpes. A swab is when they actually swab and get the viral DNA of that virus. A blood test is when they do a blood test and they get the antibodies out of your blood. Remember, herpes does not live in our blood. It lives in our nervous system. Pharmacies have Lysine ointment to put on it, and it helps so much. Yeah, in our Secret Society wellness products, we put Lysine in them for that reason. It really, really helps, and it really helps suffocate the herpes virus. The Bible is very deep in poetry. It's impossible to understand any poetry without some sort of cadence of what the words mean. I totally agree with you. Is it possible to have kids? Yes, I'm a mommy. I have a baby. I was pregnant. I gave a vaginal birth. It's absolutely possible to have genital herpes or HSV2 or HSV1 genital, whichever one you have, and have a baby. It's 100% possible. If you have it, would you transfer it to your kids? It's skin to skin, so it's possible, of course, but it's not necessarily, it's something, like genital herpes is something that you can prevent transmission to your kids in the sense that, like, your kid has to come in contact with your genitals, and you can kind of avoid that, right? I still take showers. I took a shower with my son today, but he's not, like, up in my genitals. So, again, it's skin to skin transmission. A lot of it is collagen deficiency. I don't know about that. That's a good one to know. I don't know about that. So you've never had an outbreak, not even a cold sore. So what is the percentage that I don't have it? I'm not sure about that. I would say that 80% of the population has it. So you have a 20% chance you don't have it. that's just going off of random statistics. If 80% of the population has herpes and you say you don't have it, you're maybe one of the 20% that doesn't have it or hasn't come down with it yet. So one of the things that's kind of freaky or annoying or frustrating about it is you could come into contact with it at some point in your life and then it show up years later. I can't tell you how many couples I've talked to, they're like, we're in a monogamous relationship, where did this come from? All of a sudden I have herpes. Where did this come from? That if you were in a monogamous relationship, then one of you picked it up previous and it was dormant in your system until now. Can you pass it if you don't have an outbreak? You can. Unfortunately, 70% of transmissions occur without an outbreak. So it's called viral shedding, and that is something that happens. There's no signs, there's no symptoms. We don't know that we're contagious, and that's when outbreaks happen. Cool. I just want to make sure I got through all. You had your first outbreak 4 months ago, and when you would wake up, it was hard for me to walk. Yeah, your first outbreak can be extremely painful, whether it's your lymph nodes that are swollen, just your groin in general can be swollen. Emotionally, you can just be crushed. So yeah, it can be very painful. What I'd recommend if you're in a lot of pain genitally would be, well, of course, our Secret Society wellness products, that's why we created them, because they do help with pain and they do help with preventing outbreaks and speeding up the recovery. But with that being said, I'd recommend taking an Epsom salt bath. We do have them in the product line, but Epsom salts are really beneficial. They're wound healing. They are soothing to the body. They calm your nervous system. And you just kind of like, it helps with the itch, the pain, all the swelling, all that. You've had it for 30 years, no issues, infrequent outbreaks, and manageable with Lysine. Yeah, totally manageable with Lysine. How did you avoid giving it to your husband when you're being intimate? So we don't have sex if I have an outbreak, of course. Like, I'm not going to directly expose him to it. We communicate about it, and I take Lysine, I take Monolaurin, and I've just done a really good job, in my opinion, of communicating to him if and when I have outbreaks. With that being said, on that, and that's something that is really difficult for us a lot of times, is once we've disclosed and that person's accepted it, a lot of times we're like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, well, what if I give it to him or her? What's going to happen? If you've disclosed to that person, and these 3 things have happened, if you've disclosed and this person's over the age of 18, if you disclose and this person is mentally competent to be making his or her own decisions, and you disclose when you're not under the influences of drugs or alcohol, like this person is with it, and you've disclosed and you've had conversations about it, and that person still decides to have sex with you, then it is his or her own decision to move forward with it. We can't say like, well, I don't know, are you sure you want to have sex with me? Like, I have herpes. No, that diminishes your position. It makes you feel disgusting and not worthy and not equal and all those things. And that's not true. There's always a risk at having sex. There's always a risk of viruses being transmitted, whether you know you have them or don't know you have them. So everybody has something, right? We have to remember that. Like, yes, we have herpes, but everybody has something, and we all make those decisions when we have sex. So that's how man gets it. How does a man get an outbreak? Both men and women have very similar symptoms. Obviously, our genitals look a little bit different, but our symptoms are similar. An outbreak can look like a paper cut. It can be one blister. It can be a cluster of blisters. Something to think about, the blisters are typically fluid filled. They're not necessarily like pus filled. It's usually like a fluid type of blister. Painful blisters. They can be itchy. They can be nerve pain. So that's typically how it is. No way what? Is there a rate of shedding lower for someone who has never had an outbreak? I don't know about that. I do know the longer you've had herpes, the less likely, the less frequent your shedding or outbreak should become. So when the herpes virus is new in your system, new in your body, typically for the first 12 months, you will be having more outbreaks and you will be shedding more often. The longer you've had the virus, the less likely or less often it is that you shed. How do you eradicate herpes? Unfortunately, you could not eradicate it. What you can do is you can learn to keep it dormant in your system and keep it out of replication mode through diet, through lifestyle, things like Lysine, things like Monolaurin. That's really helpful. All right, guys, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to say adios. And I'd love to, let's see, I don't know what you're saying. It's another language. Did you see my question? I must not have. Do you want to ask your question again? Someone, keep asking your questions. Thanks so much. Thank you for wonderful, very helpful. I learned so much and was so interested. Great. I'm really glad you were here. Do you believe natural herbs can cure it? I believe that I believe that as far as a cure, I want to be very careful with the word cure. Herpes cannot be cured. We have the virus forever. What we can do is we can take natural herbs to help us keep it out of replication mode. So do I believe that that's possible? I absolutely do. Do I believe that if you hop on one foot on the third moon after the fifth moon, that's a blue moon with a bat of an eye and a cauldron full of bubbles and a secret flower that blooms on the 12th of the 14th month after the whatever astro collides, and there's some secret serum? Probably there's something out there, right? But right now, all we know is that the FDA has something that's approved. It's the antiviral, or you can take what is also known as Lysine to help suppress the virus. So as far as medications, that has to be prescribed through your doctor. As far as supplements, I do have a link in my bio. You can check it out. You can read more. I recommend Lysine. I can't recommend, I'm not a doctor, but it's recommended by doctors, Lysine and Monolaurin. And I do have it linked, and you use the promo code and you do get 10% off. Like I said, I take it daily. I use it daily, and I think it's very helpful. I take Lysine and Monolaurin. I also take vitamin D, vitamin B, vitamin C, and zinc, and a multivitamin. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.